Hello everybody. So very quick video this morning called MSTR buys. Of course, Bitcoin is dumping on the macro backdrop, which is not the best. Let's talk about the buy. Bitcoin buy, very small buy, less than 3,000 Bitcoin, 264 million. Much of that buy was because of the common ATM. The common ATM raised 257 million. And that's right now the MNAV is 1.008. Last week it was in that range to 1.06 to 1.08 or 07. That's I saw it. So yeah, so that means we print $1 for $1.08. So that's okay. You know, we're still accretive. It's still accretive. We still accrete 8%. You know, that's still pretty good. But it's not nowhere where it was, nowhere like where it was in August, right? Or even before August. Nowhere like where it was at the beginning of last year, unfortunately. But we know that this fundraising is being done in order to support future issuances of Stretch when Stretch stops being broken. Because Stretch is broken right now. We are not at 100. We had a good 2-week streak, but we're not there anymore because Bitcoin is kind of broken on macro headwinds. Like there's a lot of macro headwinds. Bitcoin takes a hit whenever there's macro headwinds, and anything related to strategy itself and Stretch also cannot do well. I've always said that in all of my videos. If Bitcoin doesn't do well, strategy and Stretch are not going to do too well, right? And Bitcoin has been under a lot of pressure. There's been a lot of selling. There's been a very high correlation with the Nasdaq, a very quote unquote risk on sentiment for the asset. A lot of the deep placement folks, TradFi, move to gold. You know, to me, which is the better buy right now? Is it gold or Bitcoin? It's obviously Bitcoin to me. No financial advice. It's obviously Bitcoin. Like gold is so overbought. Bitcoin is forgotten. The bear is for building bags. That is at least that is my view. And so I'm not disappointed. I am in no hurry. You know, things will get better once we get out of this decade. It's 2026. We have 4 more years to go. I called the decade a very bad decade for investing. It's a stock picker's decade. It's a decade that's not going to be a good decade. The 2030s will be better when we go back to printing galore, and that may start this year, by the way, the new Fed chair. We'll see how this goes, but this year is beginning with tough uncertainty, tough stuff going on. So Bitcoin, of course, is at 87. Note, at one point on some brokers, Bitcoin went below 86 overnight in some brokerage. So pretty nuts, right? Pretty nuts. And of course, we know Sunday nights, you know, and Monday morning, usually not very good for Bitcoin in general because of a CME gap. And we've seen that pattern for the past 6 months already. But it's obviously worse when we have this type of news, like the 100% tariff on Canada. I think this is a news that is rattling the market. I know it's not as discussed as the Greenland situation, but it is certainly a big deal, these tweets, and that's not helping. And then now, of course, the big uncertainty now is you have a bunch of Democrats in the Senate who are openly pursuing a shutdown of the government. That was not something that we had 1 week ago. 1 week ago, the odds of shutdown were like 10%. Now the odds of shutdown are like more than 80%, perhaps 90%. So of course that creates uncertainty, even though history suggests that when a government shutdown is actually good for the market. Go figure. And then we have a Fed speech on Wednesday. So yeah, the volatility is going to be here this week. To me, the bear is for building bags. I mean, we are in kind of a bear market for Bitcoin now, right? Or we've never had a bull market, whichever you want to say. 2026 now starting to well, fear and greed. We're heading back down. We dropped. We had claimed back. We were back in the neutral territory, back in the 50s at one point, and then boom, we are dropping like a rock on the fear and greed. We will see how that evolves going into Wednesday. And I will conclude this video by showing you the 1-month performance of strategy stock versus IBIT, right? IBIT is exactly the same as Bitcoin. You can see IBIT is flat in 1 month. Bitcoin did literally nothing in 1 month. Strategy is actually up 1% in 1 month. So my take on this is that the tourists left. The tourists are gone. The narrative is just not working in favor or against strategy anymore. All of these debates, the people who have sold strategy have sold strategy. So now we are waiting for Bitcoin to recover, and then, of course, in my view, strategy will be the big winner of Bitcoin's recovery. We're waiting for Stretch to recover. Stretch will get back to 100. We just need to move away from these quote-unquote black swan or gray swan weeks that we've had back to back, right? We need to move away from that narrative. But it's a long-term story. It's a long-term play, and I am more positive than ever. So anyways, this was not financial advice, not investment advice. This is only entertainment. I'm hoping you were entertained. Please like, please subscribe, follow me on Patreon, follow me on X. Thank you for watching, and have a wonderful, wonderful day.